Welcome everyone to my new stage and my podcast, Witness, where I'll be sharing with you stories of human encounters, soul family reunions, life's touch, the story of our collective journey, walking each other back home. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Witness. I'm your hostess, Mariya Molduvanova, and today I invited Mary Gooden, a dear friend, international speaker, business mentor, multiple times best-selling author, and publisher. We'll be sharing a conversation about our journey together, the books that we co-created and put out into the world, and the becoming of who we are today. Welcome, Mary. It's so good to have you and reconnect with you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mariya, for having me on your show and to sharing me with your audience. I really have been ever evolving over the last, I guess, year and a half that we've been, I say, playing together, and really over the last decade of my life, just really stepping in to the place of being the best version of me that I can discover, that I can accept, that I can align with. So thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. I've introduced you shortly, but I would love for you to share in your own words. Who is Mary Gooden today?
Who am I? This is a question I get to ask myself every morning. But what I really have dropped my roots into, or what is the soil beneath me, the richest soil beneath me, is I am head over heels about creating loving and lasting change in the world. I have been blessed with many, many gifts and continue to receive as a channel. Even a tarot reader, a publisher, a multi #1 best-selling author, a speaker, a podcast host myself, retreats, like all these wonderful and amazing gifts that I have embraced and embodied, really just to show others what else is possible and to hold the highest vibration truly of unconditional love. And that's who I be. That's who I get to be. Among other things, I learn something new every day. I feel like every single day, sometimes every single hour, presents itself with a new invitation, a new gift, a new pair of shoes that I could put on. And even if only for a day, even if I only talk to one person in that one day that I have claimed that I can share something that inspires them, that's enough for me. That's who I be.
That is really the secret recipe. We're so programmed that we need to do. And we forgot to be present. Be with the people we love. Be with the beautiful nature surrounding us. We had a conversation right before you came. You were stewarding the beautiful land of Arizona, and you were sharing that you were hiking right before our call. And I really enjoyed that part of you.
I did a social,
Sharing with
did a live
nature.
actually up there. I don't often get live for some reason. I feel like, you know, there's still this get in front of your computer. I did a live up there. I love the land. I love the planet. I love that I get to be in an experience. We talked about this too, where I'm observing and I'm witnessing every moment. And in that observation and in that witnessing, I personally have come to an evolution that all of it is an invitation. All of it has value. All of it has a gift for me, even if it's just a moment of this, you know, of this expansive live that I did to remind us that everything's possible. Each element, each part of our surroundings, everything that surrounds us is inviting us to witness it, to observe it, to see it, not to judge it, not to criticize it, to just see it. And humans are no different. Just see me, not the experiences that where I was trying to figure me out. Well, see those too. Those are cool too. Like you can see, but see me. See me as an ever-evolving human being. I can change anytime that I want to. I'm in a process of stepping into my best alignment, my fullest self, my wholeness. And just see me, witness me while I witness me, while I witness you. What I've learned about witnessing me, loving me, and you know this, Mariya, being me, it doesn't really offend anybody. It gives everybody else permission to do the same for themselves. It only offends people if I think it's offending people.
When did you learn to witness yourself?
What did I learn? Is that what you?
When did you learn?
When did I learn? You know, the one experience that keeps coming up for me over the last couple of days, I stand and speak on a lot of stages. I believe that my message matters and your message matters. And one of the best ways that we can share that is to just voice our message. And what really keeps coming up is, you know, in 2013, I basically dropped out of corporate. I resigned from my career that was paying me well. I resigned on a wing and a prayer, really, truly, on a soulful, like it's time to fly. And my prayer was just relentless faith. Can you just have relentless faith in what we're going to show you? And a lot of you might recognize this, a time in your life where you finally said yes. And you still don't know what all the bits and pieces are, but saying yes made you feel good. You felt it. You felt relief. And so for years, I had been witnessing myself. What led to that moment was witnessing myself chase somebody else's dream, be somebody else's hope for happiness. The societal dream for me, that climb the corporate ladder, make a lot of money, buy a lot of things, see if you can't get the last name on your mailbox to read the Joneses. If you are from a different country, it's like, you know, be defined by your materials. People will see you if you have lots of materials. And I was drowning in what was supposed to be a successful and satisfying life. And that was it. That's what it was called, a successful and satisfying life. It wasn't called a soul-aligned life.
Mm.
And I witnessed myself for 4 years in panic mode, literally. I found myself in the hospital with a panic attack. I left with enough Xanax to put down an elephant. And I started witnessing, like, this is not my life. This is not, I don't like to take medicine anyway. Never have, never will. My mom was very holistic in her remedies to heal us with honey and, you know, vitamin C and nourishing foods. And my dad had the garden of vegetables. It wasn't going to be my experience. Well, it was going to teach me something. So for 4 years, I witnessed and observed of how I wasn't choosing me. I felt like I was choosing me, like, because they said, do it this way. And those are the ways that I was doing it. And I was getting the things, but I wasn't feeling good while I was getting the things. I wasn't feeling guilty. I was just feeling gross. It wasn't satisfying. I was striving. It was hard. And I've told myself it was hard. I believe in affirmations. I wrote a book about it, 33 Abundant Affirmations. And so my affirmation that I witnessed completely for 4 years that I claimed was adapt and overcome. Even if it doesn't feel good, even if your body hurts, even if whatever, even if, just adapt and overcome. Now, just to speed everything forward for a hot second, my affirmation and mantra these days are let it be easy, let it be fun. So I needed to witness
One
this
of my
adapt.
favorite of yours.
Yeah. So I needed to witness that. It took me 4 years. It took me 4 years. I'm not good, bad, or indifferent. I don't care. What is time anyway? It took me 4 years before I got to that point where I dropped out. I'm dropping out of corporate. 20-year marriage, on the telephone with my husband, my previous husband. I'm dropping out of corporate. I'm finally excited. I have relentless faith. I want to choose my soul work. My soul work, I want to choose what feels like authentic to me. It was teaching fitness and yoga. It was being on stage with this brilliance, that this energetic brilliance I have, this joyful, I've got joy deep down in my soul. I was being on stage and coaching people and watching them smile back, knowing that they were making healthy choices for themselves, knowing that they were making time for themselves, which is one thing I was doing, which is why I was teaching fitness while I was in corporate. 80 hours a week there, 20 hours a week in the gym, trying to delight my soul. It became overwhelming. Yes, I was living in the overflow, but at the time it was very exhausting. Today, I'm still living in the overflow, but it's light. It's all in what you're saying, what you're thinking, what you're reading, what message you're sharing, what story you're telling. So I started telling myself a different story. Well, how many of you have done this? Like, I finally chose myself, and I'm excited to tell my partner or my friend or my close-knit family, and then the other shoe drops. Well, this isn't going to work for me. So for me, what that looked like is about a year after I started making all these transitions, I moved to the South, I bought a gym, I started preparing to open my own yoga studio. It was a 25-year relationship. We were high school sweethearts. We were military family for 22 years. He dropped that bomb. I don't think I love you anymore, and I don't want to be married. He couldn't recognize me. She just sold everything that we had, but I talked to him about it. He said, baby, do what makes you feel good. He didn't know what he was saying. You know, a lot of us don't know what we're saying. We're in a program. We say what we think the other person needs to hear. And then maybe most of the time we don't believe they're going to do what they say. Maybe. And so I think he tried to swallow it for about a year, and it just came to a head where what just happened? What did you just do? You just completely destroyed our life. And so that was his affirmation. She just completely let go of everything that we had built. And I couldn't see it that way because I was in a different version. It happens. It's a gift. That relationship was a gift. It brought me 2 delicious little daughters, angels, like I call them. But it was part of it. It's part of it. It's part of the activation. And you get to witness that too. I got to witness it. So the other shoe dropped, and I was brought to, I'm going to call it right now because that's what it comes to, at the very bottom, the very base. I was brought right back down to the very base. Oh, snap. My biggest fears were right in front of me. And here's what they were at that moment. I just resigned from corporate a year ago. I bought a passion, a fitness club. I bought a passion. Any of you that have ever owned a brick and mortar in fitness or a brick and mortar, you're buying a passion. You're in your passion, and it doesn't always prosper in a way that perhaps something that you've been doing for 20 plus years does. It doesn't carry the same level of income at first. At first. And so I was like, oh no, how am I going? These were my things. I'll be very transparent. How am I going to afford this house? How am I going to buy my, if I want to buy my kids a car, they're going to be, I think there were 11 and some 8 at the time. How can I afford a car for them when it comes? What am I going to pay for their insurance? How am I going to pay for their college? How am I going to do this? I just resigned from a ridiculous amount of money, and I'm not going back. There was that too. And now I'm going to go through this divorce. And now what? God, send me a mentor. God, send me a mentor. No, Mary, I'm making you the mentor. Send me a mentor. Witness your own life. We're just going to, it's your time to become an inspiring voice. It's your turn. You already know you love being on stage. You already put a microphone on 3-4 times a day, and you get on stage and you pump joy into people's lives. We're just going to rearrange some things, and you've already got that piece, but it needs to be authentic. You need to start at the base, and you need to build yourself, not from a scarcity mindset, not from a fear-based mindset. You need to start at the bottom, at the base, and you need to build up from the truth, from your most authentic version, from the truth that abundance is your birthright. I talk a lot about abundance, about receiving more, about being in the overflow. Abundance means something different for all of us, but in the scope of the vision, it means more of, overflowing. You need to build yourself up from the beginning. I got to start over, really. I got to start over.
That's scary.
It does come with a level of process that doesn't make sense. I would rather say that. It doesn't make sense. Something you and I talked about pre-show too. It doesn't make sense because it's not something that we've done before. In fact, what the truth of that is I have finally stepped into something that I'm going to create. And so it doesn't make sense because I've never seen it before, because it's a creation from my most authentic version. And perhaps over the lifetimes, I haven't done that. I will tell you right now, open-heartedly, and look you in your eyes and tell you, I am living in an experience I've never lived in before. Do I know what to call that? Do we call that? I'm telling you, we oftentimes don't know what to call that, because we've recognized that we're finally in the lifetime where we witness the truth that we create our reality, one moment at a time, one thought at a time, one day at a time. And what's happening outside of that are all the things that are the activations that will continue to elevate us into that creation. They're not burdens, they're not traumas, they're not anything other than activations that enhance our experience. Because when you get to that place, that's what you realize, that's what you witness. What somebody else outside of my life is going through has nothing to do with anything that I've ever done to them. It has nothing to do with me, but I can witness how they walk through it. Perhaps it activates me to something. Not for me to go in their face and say, it's not like that. It's for me to say, okay, why am I seeing this? Where's the value here? It's completely different, but I got a second chance to build my life back up from the ground up, from a place of knowing that abundance is my birthright, from a place of knowing that I am connected to a source that is limitless. And I started walking out that. And yeah, I I shed a lot of layers. There was a lot of things to uncover. I was 38 years old. And I started to go through the sludge. I got on my knees. I created what is now my 3 non-negotiable practices, one day at a time, one moment at a time, which is to claim who I be. First thing I say every morning, show me the way today. What is mine to see? What is mine to share? Who do I get to be today? Not, what do I have to do? Oh my God, do I have time for this? Am I going to get this done? Oh crap, it's another day. No, 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 no. Who do I get to be? Thank you for this breath. Who can I be today? How can I create loving and lasting change? But I had to get on my knees. I had to get to that level of creating that practice. And so I had 15-minute pity parties. This is how I walked my way out. And then I'd go move. I loved exercise. I'd go teach my class. Not only was I claiming my energy, I was moving it through my body, which made it more fun to create. Energy can get stagnant. You can be in just number one, you can be in claiming it, but if you've never moved things out of your body, you're still in a stagnant state. The things that you're claiming don't have room. So if you claim them and then go move and make space for them, you'll then start to create from the claim. You won't, if you don't go move it, and I'm saying this, like just waving my arms right now, I'm moving energy. If I do that for 30 seconds, you've created a practice.
Because
So
you open the space for more to come in.
For what you're claiming to come in the limitless ways that it can. We'll talk about that maybe in another episode, but just the basics of it. If I want to claim something new, I also need to make space for it. So that became my number 2. If I connect with myself, I claim. Number 2 is to move. Then I go to daily movement. And from daily movement, once I've created a space for my new claim, I then will automatically create from that. I've got that new frequency in me. I've got that new idea, that new claim in me. But if I didn't move, I would just sit there and it would just sit there. It couldn't find a place to land. So then what would happen? Tomorrow it's Groundhog's Day. And next, 7 days later, it's still Groundhog's Day because I still haven't created a space for it to land. So the number 2, the movement in these pieces, the breath work, the 5 big expansive breaths. I teach all kinds of different ways of doing this, but I'm just telling anybody that's listening and wants to create a new practice to build that new foundation. That we are the truths of our life. We breathe, therefore we prosper. We can create it. And then the third is to celebrate it. So after I claimed it, and after I went and I moved and I found a place to land, part of my celebration was writing down the fun things, ideas that I had that I wanted to take another step towards, or treating myself to a delicious green tea, right? Or celebrating that I got the first 2 done. Didn't have to be a massive celebration, but what that taught me is, what do you hear? We hear this all the time, like celebrate the small stuff too. But none of us are doing it. You might hear yourself say that. You might give advice to somebody, but are you really doing it yourself? One thing I've taught people at my retreats for many years is get a fishbowl, get a fun vase, get something pretty, and put 10 or 15 little pieces of paper folded up with your favorite things, little treats. What do you want? What do you like? I'm massage today, coffee today, green tea. I'm going to go walk in the park, whatever you like. These little things that you love to do that light you up. Put them in a fishbowl. Pick one a day. Pick one a week if you feel like you don't have time. These are the ways we can go celebrate that we're making it through life. A lot of times we just go to 1, 2, and then we forget to celebrate. So you know what happens when we don't celebrate it? So I did the claiming, right? If I don't move, my claim never lands. So remember that part. So now I've claimed and now I've moved. So it's landed. So I can start creating it. Well, if I don't celebrate it, if I don't finalize the piece, do you know that you might spend weeks still thinking that you haven't come to the level 3 because you never went to celebration? You'll still spend weeks on the same claim and the same creation process. Just like when you were doing the claiming and you never moved it, you spent weeks on just I'm claiming, but it hasn't landed. Now I'm claiming and moving, but I didn't celebrate it. I didn't tell the universe, I'm ready, give it up. Like the universe loves to see you excited. This is true. God, source, divine, whoever that is, right? That frequency of excitement, like a child, that's the celebration excitement I'm talking about. The treating myself for being willing to show up in something new that I just heard. The willingness to take action on it, not knowing the outcome. Isn't that grounds for celebration? So, and again, this can be small scope stuff. This doesn't have to be, you don't have to be, I'll use this word, you don't have to be spiritual to be this. You just have to be soulful. And if you're breathing and you are hearing me, there's a soul in there. I guarantee it. You may not have been told that yet, or you may not have been face to face with it, or you may not have listened to it yet, but it's in there. Would you agree, Mariya? It's in there.
I love everything you're mentioning, and it's so, so important. All of your story, all of your journey that you've shared with that last remark that you might not be spiritual, but there is a soul. So many people right now, massively more people, are waking up to that same realization. For you, it was 2016, but right now, a lot more people are, I have everything, and what is missing?
No, I
Why?
feel
Why?
yucky. You feel gross. I really was just like, I can't, in my first book. So we're going to get to the evolution of how these three things and how that being able to step aside and witness my life and realize that I really did hate it. I mean, using that word, but it really wasn't aligned with me. It was aligned with what society had told me was the magic pill. The magic pill. I didn't know that magic was out there somewhere. In my first chapter that I wrote in a multi-author book before I became a publisher, right? There's a whole, the finale of this. Before I created a six-figure business in 12 months, before I went through the whole build, because I rebuilt a structure from the truth that I am worthy, that abundance is mine, that the whole universe is conspiring for me. I wrote that, and that's what it's the song that would go through my head. I'm looking at this over $500,000 home. I'm looking at the swimming pool. I'm looking at my daughters. I'm looking at these cars. I'm looking at all these things. And all I could hear was that song. I can't get no satisfaction. And I try, and I try. And so I can't, I can't sing, but I will. But that was it. I can't get satisfaction here. And damn it, for the last 25 years, that's all I've been hearing. Like, do this and you'll be satisfied. Every commercial on TV. Well, I turned the TV off. When we moved to New Orleans, when I went through that sacred evolution, we didn't have cable. I got rid of the TV. It just, everything out there is impressing upon you that you have to do something to be worthy, to be rich, to feel wealthy, healthy, and free. And it's bullshit. It's bullshit. You get to be who you are. And I'm telling you, these desires of yours, whether they be for things or experiences or relationships, are waiting for your being, your authenticity. They're waiting for you. And as I keep hearing, even pre-show on another call I was on, I don't doubt what I hear. I don't doubt it. I listen to everything that comes in and I find the value. But what I keep hearing, there is only 8% of the population that understands this program. And we'll call this program being in the human experience. And it is fun. And it is rewarding. And it is fulfilling. And it is available to every single living, breathing human being that has a soul. And I know that you find external things that challenge this. And when that happens, this is my piece of advice, go back to the being. Ask yourself why it's challenging you. Don't ask the challenge why it's there. Ask you why you're feeling challenged by it. That's a great piece of advice. I'm going to use that later today too. But anyway, so that was it. There is another program available. Okay. They're all programs in some realm. They're all belief systems that we follow. They're all practices. For me, they're daily practices. And can my daily practices change a little bit? Do I tweak them? Absolutely. Because I'm the creator of this reality. I can turn the gas up and I can turn the gas down whenever my thinking mind decides that to. And then what happens when my thinking mind makes the decision? My body responds and takes the action. So yeah, so I've decided to see what was on the other side of not being satisfied, and I leaped into my journey of choosing me, and it took daily practice. I told you about those daily practices: claim it, create it, celebrate it, daily connection, daily movement, daily celebration, for years. I'm a decade through now, okay? So I'm 11 years actually. 2013 was 11 years ago, actually in the month of June. So almost 11 years on the nose. But over the last 5 years is where that service of really witnessing myself again in a 4-year period had really started to show up. And that is where kind of brings me to our relevant how I met Mariya, how we came to a place of connection. And that was really through my willingness to not only share my story on a global platform, but to really feel so moved by the experience that I wanted to lead others through it. That I wanted to hold their hand and link arms with them and stand alongside this experience that has radically and abundantly changed my reality.
And on my side, that has been such a fun experience. Working with you, working on the book together, on 2 books actually, because in 1 hour I somehow decided that I will commit not just 1, but 2 books with you. And that has been such a pleasure and fun. Even that at the time I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I did not know until the last minute what I was writing about. And that was the fun part. It was a journey. It was the becoming. Becoming the author. We pretty much wrote the chapters as we were becoming. And we witnessed each other through it. And I, as one of your authors, I'm so grateful, and this is what I appreciate the most with the experience, is the freedom to be whoever I want to be. is the freedom to express in whichever way I want to express, be it in strange words or multiple contextualization is another word. I know the truth had plenty of fun, anything more on my chapters, but it's an example of how we are just to be and to witness each other being, not to try to change one another, turn ourselves in something that we are not, but witnessing each other, and in the witnessing of each other, allowing each other to be the best version of ourselves that can be in a moment. And I like that you mentioned tuning in to your body, to your mind, once you decide, okay, this is who I am today. This is who I am in that first chapter of my life. And then that chapter is over, that book is over, and it's a new book. It's an opportunity to completely reinvent who you are. Write a completely different bio, even that it's a month later. Write a completely different story with a new version of yourself, and allowing yourself without judgment, but witnessing yourself through the changes. Oh, okay, I'm no longer this version of myself. I grew up. I'm a new self. And tomorrow I will be another self. So many of us are, what's the word? Like, it's not stuck, but like,
Carrying resistance.
no, it's like the identities of being, we are so attached to
Or
the
identities. Well, yeah.
identities of who we were told we should be, who we thought we were.
Most of the
But
program,
when we allow ourselves not to attach, but just to me, who am I today, you said? Who I am to me today. Yesterday I might have loved this routine. Today, is that still me? Does this still fire my soul? And if I feel it doesn't, it's okay to change. And that's a beautiful way to allow ourselves to be.
So true. Most of the programs that have been running for so long have teach us that, to cling to our identity, to cling to it.
Cling, exactly. That was the word I was looking for.
Really just hook into it. There's nothing more than or less. This is, and that is a big things just aren't that way anymore. And I believe that in some vibrational time, perhaps that was one of the steps to evolution. We're evolving, that there's no need to cling. We are multidimensional, multi-talented. human beings now. We've evolved, just like we've watched everything else evolve in the world. And this is all part of it. But I love that about the writing. I want to circle back to that because I always say writing for the win. It has been one of the most impressive ways that I have been able to witness my journey. And I want to share that in a kind of a full circle way. That when I first was asked to write a story, I didn't think I don't have a story. I was remarried by then. So I had kind of forgotten and I didn't write. But I said, my soul said yes. My soul screamed yes. And after I sat, and I had only 2 weeks to write about this, I came to the story of 25 years of my life. And in that witnessing and in that writing and in that moment and every day reminder, as I kept writing and kept contributing to other books and wrote my own and still writing my own books, I realized that perhaps the only reason I went through that 25-year experience was for the very moment that when the next part of my soul's evolution came knocking, which is creating loving and lasting change through mentoring and publishing others. The only reason that story happened is so I would have a story that was relatable to a good bit of the population. I chose a new life for myself. And the shit hit the fan. And I got a second lease on life and decided to create from a different structure. I got to start over. Now, most people are still sitting in their mess and saying, how could dare this happen to me? But when I recognized that the only reason that 25-year experience happened was so that I would have a story at the moment my soul said, we're going to do this. Share that 25-year experience you just went through. That's a golden opportunity. And it has been a golden opportunity. It has been one of the most prosperous experiences of my life because I'm being on purpose, because I'm being me. As I told you earlier, that publishing house, my first chapter was in 2020. 4 months later, I wrote another book, second chapter. 8 months later, Divine Destiny Publishing was birthed into the world. Took me 3 months to get out of my own way and get my first client. Within 12 months of that very moment, I was celebrating 6 figures, more than I was making in my career. The one career that I thought, oh my gosh, they're paying me obscene amounts of money. More than. So it was a full circle for me. And I just had to have that relentless faith. I said it in the beginning, on a wing and a prayer. Where is your life asking you to take a step forward on a wing and a prayer? Your soul is ready to fly. And this body was sent here with relentless faith to walk in flight of the soul. And there is an entire living, breathing human universe, spiritual universe, soulful universe, sacred God, source divine on your team. This is true.
Absolutely everything what you're sharing.
So it's just a different way of thinking. You can call it hard, you can call it easy, you can call it one of those things, but all I've just shared here is I just think differently. Perhaps I think I do everything opposite than I was taught. That's one way I started looking at it. Well, if I was taught to do it this way, I'm going to try it this way. Relentless faith. Perhaps I just witness everything instead of judging it. Talked about that earlier, right? Not judging is an old way of thinking. Witnessing is the new way of thinking.
You said it, I can call it good, I can call it bad. You calling it, it's what making it reality.
Your claim is your reality. And the more that you can remind yourself, I still remind myself of this every day. I don't want anybody to think that it's a magic pill. I'll call it a magic pill. They're all magic pills, but every day, every single day, this has become my daily practice. Just like every single day they told you, you better be at work. Every single day they said you need to eat breakfast. Every single day they said you need to put pants on. Every single day you need to go to the bathroom. Every single day you need to breathe. My practices are every single day. I claim every single day. I do something that makes space for what I'm claiming, which if you ask me, and I'm gonna go up for a second, stay with me. If you ask me, my claiming, my desire, the things that I want are not really mine. They're the invitation from my soul. My soul came here to create loving and lasting change. So I even got my humanness out of the way sometimes. Like, this isn't me just wanting something else. This isn't me being selfish. This isn't me being selfless even. This is me being soulful. I just heard a new invitation. They're asking me to claim this. I'm not. It's and it's every day. It's every day. Show me the way today. What is mine to see? What is mine to share? Who do I get to be? Who am I asking? I'm asking the present moment. Where is life really happening? In the present moment. What becomes my reality? Whatever I'm claiming in the present moment. I think I just got on that circle. And this is a daily practice. This is a moment practice. This is like a breath, every breath. I take it in and I release it out. I don't cling to it. I take it in and I let it go. And then maybe whatever. And I do that every day until the day comes that perhaps I'm doing it in a different way. Maybe I'm a tree next time. Maybe I go back to being a tree. I love the trees, right? I mean, they're just like so strong and so rooted. And they talk to me. They invite me to be me in ways that I never imagined possible. There, I said it. Right? They invite me to lean back on them. They invite me to stand alongside of them. They blow their little, they have jazz hands for me. They welcome me in, I could go on about flowers. I could go on about water. I could go on about them all.
They truly do. I mean, that is something we have in common. For sure, we talk to nature, we talk to water, we talk to flowers, we talk to trees.
It's all supporting us.
And you're one of the few people that seemingly and recognize what I was doing. Every time you see me in nature, I see you, they talk next to you. And they do. Everything around us has a language if we are open to listen. I've been using, for whoever is unfamiliar, my life language, my highest essence language, to have a multidimensional conversation with you. But everything around us is communicating in the same way. When you go out, the sun is talking to you, the water is talking to you, all the creatures, all the birds singing outside. Everything has a song, a voice.
A message.
Question is a message. Question is, can you be present in this very moment, not lost in the version of the past or dreaming about the future, but being present, grounded in this very moment, and listen. Listen with your eyes. Hear with your fingers. Everything around you has a voice and message and speaks to you. So good to have you here today to share yet another beautiful conversation with you on multiple levels, because again, this conversation might be with our human voices, but as the multidimensional beings that we are, we communicate in so many more ways.
Mm-hmm.
And our messages spread further and further, touching more and more souls, awakening more and more beingness in the world.
Thank you. Thank you. I just, you feel these, like you're saying, you just feel the truths, you feel the words, you feel the vibrations in these spaces and places and conversations. So thank you, Mariya, so much for having me. I learned so much more about me when I speak about my life every single time. So share your message. As one of our books that we did together, shine your light as brightly as you can, and there you will find you.
I'm not saying any better than this. In the spirit of this conversation and with everything we've shared, and in the spirit of our connection and what we are here to bring to the world, any final words to the collective?
I think the one thing that really wants to be said, a thought that came through just a few minutes ago when you were talking about don't cling to the past and don't get lost in the future, because your future is created into your dreams of today. So dream every day. Because that's what creates your future. It's not your thoughts. It's who you are right now in this moment that is creating the very next step, the very next breath. So just as we've talked about the entire time, be present and know that your dreams of today, your willingness and commitment to be here today, right now, in a place of gratitude, in a place of grace, in a place of love, will create a future beyond anything that you can imagine or have ever seen before. And I am single-handedly walking out this part of the human experience. That my dreams and desires of today inevitably bring the best future possible.
Beautiful said. Beautiful message. Thank you, dear one, for joining me today, for being you, for shining bright and encouraging and empowering others to shine even brighter, because That's your biggest contribution. And sometimes it's not what you accomplish, but what you inspire others to accomplish. That is your biggest contribution to the collective, to this collective journey that we are all walking together back home. Thank you everyone for listening to this conversation. If it touched you, press the like button, subscribe, share our stories so more people can learn how to be themselves and flow. Until the next time.